Hi, this is Robert Kiyosaki, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. This is the most important thing you can listen to today.
He's the one.
I have a dream.
With great power comes great responsibility.
I could do this all day.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom.
Cinderella story out of nowhere.
It's in the hole. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Capital Hacking begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the big show. Josh McCallan here. How are you doing, John Edward?
Man, I am feeling great. I'm doing great. We're rocking and rolling. And we have Mr. Matt King, the CEO of GoBundance, second time on our show. He knocked it absolutely out of the park. We're going to talk about all that in a second, but I did want to say something that impacted me during this interview. Service is the Trojan horse to knowledge.
Boy, I can't wait till you hear that dialogue, guys. That comes at towards the end, but the whole show leads up to that. The word service. And my teammates, if you're listening, our beautiful teammates at Viva May, we know that service is this key, powerful word, and Matt King does a great job of teaching a new layer of depth. But what we want to say about this show is the guy comes up with 2 massive capital hacks or human capital hacks. I think it's worth the price of admission. But the last thing I want to say, he scratches on this surface. This guy runs one of the most successful mega masterminds in the country. And he introduces the idea that we need to surround ourselves. And I hope this is your private mastermind. Enjoy this show.
Enjoy the ride. Cheers.
John, are you kidding me? We get to have another opportunity to sit down with the world famous Matt King from GoBundance. This is the best.
Such an honor to have you, Matt, on the show, not just for the first time, but for the second time. So our listeners may know a little bit about you, but let's dive in just a little bit on who you are. And then I definitely want to get into the ride.
Yeah, man. Well, first and foremost, thanks for having me back or again. I always tell people you either get invited back because you sucked the first time and they didn't get what they wanted, or you were good enough to actually get invited back. So I will leave that as a rhetorical question for here in this moment because I don't want to know the truth. But who I am, man, I'm just a Midwest kid. I was born and raised in Wisconsin. I really like to think of my life in a simple motto, which is find the way or make the way. I was the smallest kid on the soccer team, chose to play goalie. You won't be successful. Found a way to succeed at a very high level. Dropped out of college. You'll fail. Found a way to succeed. Moved across the country with my girlfriend. Terrible idea. Found a way to succeed. Moved to Texas to work for this random stranger. Bad idea. Don't do it. Found a way to make it successful. And you know, when I really think about like what's going to be on my tombstone someday, I really think y'all like it will just say like he found the way or made the way. And I'll probably even find the way to dig my own grave, which is the ride. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm also a husband. I have an amazing wife who just launched her first business, which is really cool to see because she was a teacher and then a stay-at-home mom, which is by far the world's hardest job that nobody gives the credit to the moms that do that they deserve.
Yes, it is.
And then she had this idea to start this Mahjong company. So her and her friend are manufacturing Mahjong tiles. One of the GoBundance members is actually helping them. Larry Ho is a great dude. They're designing tiles, they're manufacturing, they're getting shipped here to the ranch, they're selling them. And it's been really cool because she's learning business, which is the game in the arena I play in, that she never understood. She's like, what do you mean I have to pay sales tax? What do you mean I have to file the quarterly report? What do you mean I have to have an EIN number? Why can't I just have a normal bank account? Like, it's been really, really cool to see her journey on that. And then we have 3 beautiful kids. We have a 6-year-old daughter, a 4-year-old son, and a 1-year-old daughter. And just every day, John, I wake up and just say, how can I be the best version of me? And the beautiful thing about life is most days I get it wrong, but every single day I get a redo. And so every single day when I do get it wrong, I go back to the kids and say, hey, daylight savings time, it's not for the faint of heart. Whoever created that didn't have toddlers. I lost my cool last night. I'm sorry. Can I get a redo? And the beautiful thing about my kids is so far they've allowed me to have as many redos as I've needed. Now, hopefully someday I learn my lesson, but I'm not perfect. I don't try to be perfect. I like to fail. I like to talk about failure. I like to lean into the failure. I mean, Josh was just talking about like, I like to talk about the stuff people avoid, which is like, I sucked, I failed, it didn't work, it didn't go as planned, and here's what I learned. Because for me, it's a way to hold myself in integrity with my word, but also generate more awareness as to what's going on in my life. And if you don't acknowledge or talk about the bad or the failures, how can you truly be aware of the mistakes you were making? And so that's just a little story about who I am. I mean, professionally, what I get to do, I run a family office out of Austin, Texas, an incredible guy, like a father figure to me. It's like a second dad to me. And then I'll also get to be the CEO of GoBundance, which is a group that we're all a part of and an organization that I think is just helping men become better men.
Well done, man. So I'll just jump right in here. I have a lot to ask you, but I want to get right to it with the bike, the ride. Would you share with the audience what's going on in your life and how this came about and what are you learning from it?
Hey everybody, it's Robert Helms, host of the Real Estate Guys radio program. And when you're not listening to our show, make sure you're tuned to Capital Hacking. You're going to dig it.
Yeah. So I believe that the way to truly grow as a human being is to challenge the status quo. So every year I set out to do something that scares the living heck out of me. People like Jesse Itzler label this as a misogi. I just like to call it as like, do something scary, like keep it simple. I can't spell the word misogi. So I'm just going to do something simple that's really hard.
I can't spell misogi or manja.
Yeah,
those are
Mahjong, M-A-H-J. I just call it Maj. That's what all the cool kids call it. But so I don't like to label it like this big word that I can't spell. I just say like, do something hard, do something that scares me to death. One year I rode a bull. One year I went skydiving. I've run marathons. I've run a 100-mile race that I didn't train for, which turned into a 41-mile walk. And last year I was sitting there thinking about my goals. Now, one of the things I do, guys, is I set goals every year, but I start my year January 1st. And that's like the ultimate hack. Like we're on the Capital Hacking podcast. I will tell you the ultimate hack in life is to start your year December 1st. And what I realized is most people sleepwalk through the holidays. They go Thanksgiving and then like, well, I could get fit now, but I got these holiday parties and I got Christmas. I'll do it next year. 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 And then what happens is they go from like, half asleep to sleepwalking to like, now all of a sudden it's January 1st and you're just going to take off sprinting. Like it just doesn't work. And it didn't work for me. And so I changed my year. Thanksgiving is essentially my New Year's. December 1st is when I start my year. Like that is my first day. And so it was October and we were just coming back from the Banff GoBundance event. And one of my friends, Matt Johnson, was running across Texas. He literally started in Oklahoma and ran all the way to Mexico. Took him 19 days, 40, 50 miles a day. I mean, just 19 days, a man was on the road running every single day. And I said to him before he left, I'm like, why are you doing this? He's like, man, I'm doing it to raise money for veterans, to get veterans back into community. Because most of these people that serve our country come home and they feel isolated. I'm like, man, I want to support that. So at the event, we raised over $50,000 for him. I landed Thursday night. I think it was like 11 o'clock we landed. And at 6 in the morning, I was out in Fredericksburg, Texas, running with him and presenting him with this check. And when I went out there at 6 in the morning with him, like it was just us in the open road. And I was like, how fucking cool is this? Like this man is putting himself through absolute pain and misery for a cause way bigger than himself, for people he'll probably never meet, because he knows how important it is for them to be seen, them to be loved, and them to be like taken care of, getting back in the community. So I was driving home that day and I asked myself, like, what could I do? And the first thing that came to mind was I'll ride my bike across Texas. And then the second thought I had was like, you pansy, that dude just ran across Texas. You can't ride a bike across Texas. And so as I sat there and thought about it, I was like, you know what I'll do? I'm going to ride my bike from Mexico to Canada. Like, how far is it? And I was like, oh, it's 2,000 miles. I'm like, that's not bad. Like, how far can the average person ride in a day? 100 miles? I'm like, well, I'll do 150. Like, that'll be fine. How fast does the average person ride? Like 17, 18 miles an hour. I'm like, okay, so if I average 15 miles an hour for 10 hours a day, I can do it in 13 days. And I just started to create it. And I just started to come up with this idea. And I asked, like, what's this all for? And what really resonated with me, John, was we were driving through a small town to get back here to Dripping Springs. And I was like, the movie Cars was playing in my head. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but the movie Cars, Lightning McQueen gets trapped, if you will, in this small overlooked town. It was once vibrant. It was once hustling and bustling, but the highway was built. And all of a sudden, everybody drove past that small town and the businesses were failing and the people were sad and the people weren't seen. And like all of the opportunity was like sucked out of this small town because somebody built a flyover, somebody built a freeway. And I was driving through this small town. I was like, these are the people that need us. These overlooked communities, the women, the children, the business owners, the people inside of them, like these are the people that deserve to be seen, that the news isn't talking about, that people aren't stopping in. People are driving right past it going like, I'll go to the next exit because that's a Starbucks, and that little rinky-dink coffee shop, like, I'm not going to stop there. It looks dilapidated. It looks trash. I was like, so we'll ride from Mexico to Canada, literally driving and riding through these small overlooked communities, and we're going to provide direct impact to the people inside of them. Stop, hear their story, see where they're at, see what they need, and then provide it for them. It could be a car. It could be furnishing an apartment. It could be paying an apartment for a year. It could be paying off debt. It could be paying off student loans. It could be helping a child get into sports or get into activity or getting people out of a hostile environment. Whatever shows up for us, we are going to choose. And so my mission is to ride my bike 2,000 miles from Mexico to Canada to raise $1 million for overlooked communities and provide direct impact to the people inside them.
Appreciate that. My God. Yeah. I know, Josh, you're chomping too. What I do want to for a second focus on is that, when you started talking about this, Matt, and I started hearing about somebody riding 2,000 miles. I don't ride a bike. I used to ride a mountain bike, but not a road bike. 150 miles in a day sounds like impossible to me. And then to do that for however many days, 13, 14 days that you're going to do it, sounds really impossible. But then I found out something else. I thought you were a bike rider. When did you start riding a bike? Because I've heard you're not a bike rider.
So the beautiful thing about accountability is we are most accountable to the words we share publicly. And I know this. And the most important thing, and yet the hardest thing for us to do as humans, is to keep our word with ourselves. Knowing that, I said, well, I can't keep this inside. I have to start talking about it. So literally came up with this idea late October. And in November, I started talking about it. I hadn't touched my bike in probably 8. And prior to the 18 months, I rode my bike once. So my friend Ryan wanted to get into cycling. And I was like, dude, that'd be so cool. Let's do it. So I went on Craigslist. I bought a bike. We went for one bike ride. I hated it. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. And so I bought this really cool shelf or this really cool wall mount off of Amazon, and I hung my bike up on in the garage, and I was like, that's where it's going to live. This is perfect. That's where it's going to stay. And I started publicly talking about the ride before I had even gotten back on the bike. And I literally was talking about the ride for 3 weeks publicly before my bike even had air in the tires. And looking back, that was the greatest blessing I ever gave myself, but it was also the greatest curse, because had I thought about the idea and then said, let me go ride, I probably wouldn't have committed to doing it.
Okay.
Like, I still am not very comfortable on the seat. Like, the seat is a real issue, and the clip-in pedals are a real issue. Like, had I done it a little bit, I probably would have said, like, nah, I'll come up with something else. But because I had publicly talked about it, once I got on the bike, I was like, I can't go back now. Like, what am I going to do? Go publicly say, like, hey, y'all, sorry, the seat was a little uncomfortable, to really provide direct impact to those people that have struggled with sex abuse or have been beaten and battered, or alcoholism has ruined their family. Like, the seat just hurt too bad, and so I can't help you. Like, what? I can't say that. And so I was like, suck it up, Buttercup. Like, we're going to figure this out. We're going to get used to this. So a fun fact for you, we went to dinner with some friends, and I told them what I was going to do. And the guy that we were with was like actually a cyclist, like not a full-fledged cyclist, but a mountain biker. And he had worked at a cycling shop through college. So he's like, oh, what kind of bike do you have? I'm like, no idea. He's like, what color is it? I'm like, black. He's like, send me a picture when you get home. I'm like, okay. So we get home. I look at the wall. The bike's white. I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good sign that I don't even know the color of the bike. Like, this is not going to go well. So I send him a picture. I'm like, yeah, my bad. I had the color wrong. And I literally ended up paying more to tune my bike up, $355, than I bought the bike for off of Craigslist. Wow. And in December, middle of December, I started training. And it was, at first it was 30 minutes a day, then it was an hour a day, then it was 15 miles, then it was 20 miles. And right now in my training cycle, most weeks I'm putting in somewhere between 20 and 40 hours a week on the bike. Last week I had back-to-back 4-hour days on the bike. But again, knowing that our word is the hardest thing to stay committed to, I build guardrails in my life for that. And so when I set out on this mission, I hired a crew chief that was going to run the whole thing for us. His name is Rob, and I met him when I was on the run with Matt Johnson. And the cool thing about that is, and this is like where like there's no such thing as coincidences in life. Like, I kind of call them God winks. I met this guy named Rob. I came up with this idea to do the bike ride. I was like, I'll wait till he finishes his run with Matt, then I'll reach out to him. I'm like, he finishes the run, I reach out to him like, hey, I got a crazy idea. Do you got time for a call? And we jumped on the phone. I was like, dude, I got this crazy idea. Here's what it is. And he's like, that is wild, because literally I was a Navy diver, And before one of my deployments on a submarine, I was given a stack of books, and one of the books was Tribe of Millionaires, written by GoBundance. He's like, so GoBundance has been on my vision board since that deployment.
No,
He's like, now this in tandem with GoBundance, like this is crazy. And his first question was like, well, do you cycle? I'm like, yeah, a little bit, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, because I didn't want him to say no. Oh yeah, you know, a little bit. I can dabble in it, like whatever. And then once he signed the contract and we were all set up, I'm like, by the way, I've got to admit something to you. I am not a cyclist. I haven't ridden a bike in like 2 years. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but I was afraid to tell you that because I thought you might bail on me. And he's like, I probably would have bailed. So yeah, John, I'm not a cyclist. I haven't been a big cyclist, haven't been big into the road biking and all of that fun stuff, but I'm getting into it. I'm learning it. And I'm trying to better understand, you know, the fuel I need, the watts and the cadence I need, you know, how to navigate the headwinds, the hills, the bumps, the cars, the helmets, the booty short pad things that I have to wear. Like I'm just learning it all as I go. And that's really how I live my life, is jump out of the plane and trust that I can build a parachute on the way down.
Yeah.
Well, you know, just what is the date of the ride?
Yes. So May 27th, we leave the border of Mexico, and we have a route mapped out to take us all the way up to Canada. The goal is to hit Canada on June 8th. I'm like January, February, March. I'm all confused, but the goal is to hit Canada on June 8th. We have publicly said it will take 15 days, but internally we're planning for 13. My goal is to get it done in 13. And that's another interesting thing, is everybody's like, why? Why so fast? Why not enjoy it? You know, the why is I have 3 young kids and a beautiful wife at home. Like, this is a very selfish mission, like selfless too, but like I'm having to really go on the road for 13 days away from them to serve this mission that I think is bigger than myself, which I think is really cool. But my 4-year-old's like, why are you leaving? Where are you going? And so those 2 days, those 2 extra nights matter to me. Those 2 extra bedtime stories matter to me. And so I'm willing to endure a little pain. I'm willing to ride a little longer. I'm willing to suffer a little longer each day so I can have that moment with them the next day, reading the bedtime stories and being home and giving them the hugs and seeing them.
Well, first of all, I mean, I love your intentionality and your heart for other people. I've heard this reference from multiple people, so I don't know who actually was the original one who said it, but I've heard that it's never a perfect day until you do something for someone who can never repay you. And that quote stays with me a lot. And that is exactly what you're doing here on the ride. And you're engaging a lot of us GoBundance members to maybe jump in and ride with you, maybe nominate somebody. It's like, you know, of course, if your mom needs something, you're going to do it. If your sister, if your kid, but to do stuff for complete strangers, that's like massively impactful. And I'm so excited about that. How do people, like, how are you going to find these people that you're going to, you know, give a card to or help in some way?
Hi, this is Melanie McCallan. Josh and I are just so grateful for the many investors who have already joined us at Accountable Equity. Accountable Equity is so much more than a capital group. It's really a community of accredited investors that want to learn and grow together. I just want to personally invite you, if you want to find out more about this type of investment and see if it's right for you and your family, please visit us at accountableequity.com.
Hey, it's Hal Elrod, author of The Miracle Morning, and you're listening to Capital Hacking. Enjoy.
I think it's so important what you just said is like, we're very inclined to help people close to us. And we often look past or over or through the people that we come in contact with that could actually use our help too. And I think it really, I've spent a lot of time journaling on this. I think it's really because the story we tell ourselves is the only way to help has to be some big, crazy way. In reality, it could be just like literally giving somebody a high five. It could be literally just like, hey man, how are you today? Like that could be all they needed in that moment, was to be seen. Could be a cup of coffee. Like it could be super simple. And so if people go to backtheride.com, they can see the route. They can find ways to donate. They can fill out a form to ride with us for a day if they want to. They can see ways to nominate people. They can track the whole journey. We're going to document the whole journey. Every single day, we're going to have a YouTube video of the day prior, really showing and telling the stories of some knucklehead who's not a cyclist riding his bike that far, but also doing a lot of good along the way. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to have cool ways for people when they donate to put me through extra pain and endure extra pain. And Like, we're just really going to make it fun. Like, we're only here once, I think, on this earth alive. And so why not like live it fully? Like, have fun even in the darkest moments when you don't want to get on a bike again. Do it in a tutu or whatever the donator says I have to do that day, right? Like, so we're going to make it really fun, make it really engaging. And I would just encourage like anybody listening to this, like, come ride with us for a day. When I say ride for a day, that literally could be a mile. That could be 2 miles. That could be 10 miles. I don't care if you even get on a bike. Just be with us, because the act of giving and the act of doing something hard is contagious. And so you can't help but be around that and then go back and pour that into other people. Like, you're going to go back to wherever you live from experiencing this journey with us on fire, ready to impact places that you come in contact with, people you come in contact with. And I know this to be true because it's happened in my life. It happened when I was running with Matt. It's contagious. And so I just encourage people to follow along on the journey. If you feel inspired to donate, I'd be incredibly honored. If you feel inspired to punish me, I would be incredibly grateful. Like, I want to have some fun on this. I want to eat sardines or ride a bull or do some of these crazy things that we've staked out as challenges along the way if certain donation levels are hit. And if nothing else, just come support. Come help us find the story, nominate a story. Come help us with the giving that day. Come help us just spread the word of like, people helping people is never going to get old. And we need to do more of it. Like, we need to talk less about the Somalian daycares in Minnesota. And we need to talk more about the community that's overlooked and not talked about, where there's people alive paying taxes that just need to be seen and just need for 1 second to be like, wait, pause, time out. How can we help these people? And when we do that, they in turn are going to help others. And that ripple effect, I think that ripple effect is really what can make the world a better place. And I'm not saying like, I'm not delusional. I'm not like saying like riding my bike is going to change the world. But like, if it changes one life, it was incredibly successful. If it changes any more than that, my goodness, like, wow, who would have thought this little kid from Wisconsin would get on a bike and impact lives that way? Like, I mean, it's just incredibly humbling. And then if somebody else feels inspired because of it and they change somebody's life, like, wow, like that'll be really cool.
Well, you asked, thank you, Matt. And well, like I was saying before we jumped on the show, I said, if I give a subject matter to Matt, you got a great point of wisdom. You got a lot of energy for it, and you're a heck of an articulate dude. So I want to understand one little bit of this, and then we can shift into one other question I wanted to bring to you. But John, did you have another question on the ride?
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you, because we're 2 months out now, or about 2 months, do you already have an idea of different people along the way that you're going to be helping out?
We have a couple stories that we've already been given of people that will help. And really on this journey of the ride, we're going to give in 3 ways. We're going to do organization to organization. So we're going to take all of the funds donated into the GoBundance Foundation so that I can oversee and ensure that 100% of the dollars donated go directly to the people we come in contact with. If that's $1 million, if that's 10 million, if that's 2 million, it doesn't matter. 100% is going to be given away on this thing. And the only way that I can, with good conscience, put my head on the pillow and know that to be true is if I can see that the money's coming in and where it's going to go. And so we'll go organization to organization. So we have a couple organizations that we'll work with. But I don't love that because I feel like so often we give to these organizations and we don't really see the benefit of it, or we don't really see the impact from it, or we don't really hear from the group again until they go on another capital raising campaign. But there are some good ones out there and we are going to work with them. The other way we're going to do it is we're going to take nominations, and we've already received some of those nominations. So people have gone to backtheride.com, they've seen the route and they said, hey, this woman in this city is a single mother. Her husband or fiance at the time went on a guy's trip as like a last baby moon hurrah. They went on a motorcycle trip, got hit by a drunk driver, passed away, didn't even get to see the birth of his child. And now here this woman is not just losing her fiance, birthing a child, and now having to raise a child without a father. And she was going to buy a house. And all of that is very uncertain and unshaky because 2 incomes can qualify for the asset, but one can't. And the bank doesn't care. The bank's just underwriting it. So we're going to show up and help her in a really cool way. And there's a couple other stories that have been nominated. And then the third way we're going to give is we're just going to find random people. So the group of people that ride with me most likely won't want to ride all day, which is great. They're going to bounce ahead to where we're going to be going. They're going to go have dinner at the diner or coffee at the coffee shop. They're going to ask around. They're going to start lurking around trying to find the story. They're going to find the single mom with 3 kids and 3 jobs that takes the bus or an Uber because she can't afford a car. They're going to radio back to us like, we found the story. She needs a car. We're going to make sure they can go buy the car. And then when we get there, we're going to give her the keys and the title and be like, no longer an issue for you. Like, no longer a problem. That reason, awesome. We're going to do that with the help of a member kind of lurking. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Creative endeavor, brother. I feel like you kind of you're pioneering a very By the way, this reminds me, John and I went and saw that wonderful guy race across America, be one of the fastest guys to ever ride a bike. What was that? You met him through GoBundance, right, John?
Colin O'Brady. Yeah.
We had a great time. We put him up at one of our resorts. He had a great time, didn't he, John?
Yeah, Josh and I were at the finish line when he broke the world record.
Yeah.
So you guys had him up at the resort.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That was really nice. So Matt, you are, this has been awesome. I think I'm already inspired. I think your mission is accomplished as you're going. Someone was just, it's a little thing online. They talked about the pursuit of happiness, or is the pursuit the happiness? And I think you're going to be creating a lot of happiness and power. Hey, I just wanted to compliment you on that, but I also want to give you credit for being, in my life, one of the people that really knows how to set goals and achieve goals. I think you've kind of given a lot of that backstory here on how you did it with the ride. But would you mind giving all of our listeners a little hack about life? One of your key life hacks is that you set goals and you hold yourself accountable and you achieve them. And I know you're tenacious about it. So as we wrap up here today, could you give us a little wisdom on how we can get better at that in our own lives?
Hey guys, it's John Vroman, founder of Front Row Dads, and you're listening to Capital Hacking, the best investment you'll make today.
Yeah, so there's really 2 hacks that I would lean into. The first hack is the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the quality of the people you spend the most time with. I mean, we've all heard the saying, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I think really leaning into who am I surrounded by, who am I spending time with, and how are they impacting my life? And I think the podcast Capital Hacking is brilliant, but I think really like the most important thing is relationship hacking. And like not in a negative way, but like, who are you surrounded by? Who are you talking to? Who are you able to learn from, get feedback from, and not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear? And then the second thing is I would say is service is the Trojan horse to knowledge. And why those 2 things work together is because people are going to listen to this and be like, man, I really want to be around Josh because I really want to do a resort, but Josh isn't going to take my phone call. And I would challenge that and say, first of all, pick up the phone and call, because I've spoke on many stages where I've put my cell phone number on the screen, said, if anybody ever needs anything, call me. The first time I ever did that, my assistant, I walked off the stage. She's like, are you nuts? I was like, just watch what happens. Nobody called because they're like, oh, it can't be his number. Well, he won't answer. Oh, he won't make time. So like the first thing I would say is like, call Josh, see what happens. The second thing I would say is if he doesn't answer, find a way to serve Josh. And that is the fastest way that I have found in my life to change the people I spend the most time with. Every single human I know has some sort of need in their life that we could all be of service of. Like Elon Musk, for instance. What could I do to serve Elon Musk? Well, I guarantee you Elon Musk has a pool boy and somebody who cuts the grass. Now, it's going to be really hard to become those 2 things for him, but somebody's doing it. Why not you? And so when I first got into the GoBundance community, I didn't qualify. I didn't know what a mastermind was. I couldn't afford to be in the room, and I would have never been invited to be in the room. But I was asked to serve in the room. By serving in the room, I gained proximity to conversations I had never been around before, to guys that I didn't know existed, doing things I could have never dreamed of. But I was there, making sure they had water in their cup. And the beautiful thing about it is if I fill your cup with water, that means I'm standing at the table where the conversations are being had and I can hear it. And I could go like, okay, have a 5-year vision for my life. Okay, yes, surround myself with the right people, set goals, like do all these things. And the cool thing about success is it leaves clues. Like if it worked for me, a college dropout, a random kid from the Midwest, from Wisconsin, it sure as hell is going to work for the guy that graduated from Harvard. It sure as hell is going to work for the Ivy League school. Like it's going to work for anybody. And really what I've found in my life is that it's those 2 things that ultimately are going to determine the life you're able to live or lead. And it's who do you spend the most time with, and are you willing to be of service and in service all the time without expecting anything in return?
Sounds like we need to have you give a talk at one of our hotels, man. We got the culture of service we're working on. And, we actually have something similar we teach, Matt. We call it service is the ancient antidote to anxiety, depression, lack of purpose, loneliness. So you're saying service is also the Trojan horse to
Knowledge.
to knowledge.
So really what I tell people is when I first spoke, I don't know where I came up with this saying, but it like resonated with a lot of people. So I'm like, oh, service is, and as I thought on it and I journal on it, Josh, in reality, service is the Trojan horse to whatever you want in your life. Like, you want to have a better relationship with your wife? Serve her. You want to have a better relationship with your children? Serve them. You want to be closer to your mom and dad? Serve them. You want better employees? Be of service to them. You want to meet people? Find out a way to serve them. Like, whatever you desire in your life, if you are of service or in service, the door will open for you. Then you just have to have the courage to walk through it. And that's a whole nother set of issues and complexities. But literally, if we could all just be of service and in service without expecting anything in return, I truly think we would all get everything we could have ever dreamed for and more.
Zig Zig.
It would just be from service.
Oh, man, I think that was right. The price of admission, baby.
They're going to have a round 3. I think we're going to have a round 3 after this round.
Dude,
Well, maybe we find out how many times he accidentally falls during that ride. Poor guy. Don't feel worried for you, Matt.
It's not.
It's going to be a lot. But, I what I've learned is the concrete or the asphalt is way harder when you're 36 than it was when you're 16. So I'm going to avoid the falls if I can. I'm going to avoid the falls if I can.
I like
Matt,
Matt.
How can our listeners follow up with you? How can they find you? How can they follow you on the ride?
Yeah, we're putting out a bunch of social media about the good, bad, and ugly of the training and the preparation for this and just the life that I'm fortunate and honored to be living. Right now, mattking.atx on Instagram, back the ride. You'll find all the links and all the social stuff there as well. And I will tell you, I'm learning that my diet of French fries and chicken nuggets is probably not going to be very well received by the endurance athlete community, but I just really like French fries. I'm obsessed with French fries. And so I'm just documenting it all, man. And I'm just getting so much blowback. Literally my mom's cousin messaged me the other day is you need to start wearing your helmet more. I'm like, dude, all my training so far has been for the most part inside on a trainer, but I will start wearing my helmet. So literally I started wearing a helmet inside in the office. So he would just stop bugging me because I'm like, dude, I appreciate you looking out for me, but I'm not that crazy.
Man, I love it. Great job, Matt.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. Thanks for all you do. I think the world needs more honest and vulnerable conversations, especially around the world of investing and capital hacking and relationship hacking. So I just appreciate what you guys are doing for the listeners. And if they truly take the messages that they receive from the incredible guests you guys have, their lives will be changed forever.
Yeah, it's nice. Actually, we, at one point, after I was so inspired by GoBundance over the last 8 years, I started thinking about what you just said. Sorry, we've been trying to wrap this, but I got to just add to this. And I said, for the people listening to this show, which they're hearing the conversations that happened at that table when you were pouring water, just like you just said, Matt. We at times have called it an audio mastermind because that's the point of a great podcast with conversation is we're going to be around each other for the next 30 minutes. And the more vulnerable it can be, like you are, Matt, the better value we can give to our listeners. So thank you.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you guys for all you do. And appreciate anybody that supports, follows along on the journey, rides with us, donates, nominates a story, whatever that looks like. Just thank everybody in advance for following along on this crazy delusional goal I've set.
I love it.
Thanks for all you do, man. Thanks for this time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, man.
Damn straight. We just got we got to the end of another great show. And everyone listening right now, you're the family and friends. Thanks for staying till the end.
That was so fun. And hey, hit the like, hit subscribe. We're here to serve you guys. That's why we're doing this show. Josh is not paying me. I'm doing this off of my quote unquote sweat equity because we want to make a difference in your life. And then that ripple effect will continue to touch the world.
Hey, amen, brother. Please check us out on capitalhacking.com, all the social media threads. And yes, I know you've probably already sent this episode to one of your best friends. Thank you. We love you. Just go right into your iPhone, hit the plus symbol. We'll talk to you later. See you next week.
Share.